Welcome to the Creative Plan Podcast Network. Join us as we share our favorite RPGs, one-shot games, tabletop games, reviews of items, and convention panels, and other exciting things that we run into from time to time. Sit back and enjoy the show.
Hi, this is Kellie, aka Trixie from Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion to Ragnarok story, and Tilda Wimblewick from D&D Journey of the 5th Edition. First off, I would just like to say thank you to everyone for listening to our varied adventures, as well as for rating us on iTunes and RPGpodcast.com. If you haven't rated us yet, we would greatly appreciate it if you could. And if you're looking for more ways to support our efforts, we are now on Patreon, a great site where you can help us continue making more podcasts, as well as some special surprises for our patrons. If you can, please look us up at www.patreon.com/cppn. Every little bit helps. And again, thank you for listening.
Hey guys, Jim here with Creative Plan Podcast Network with Kellie, Scott, Michael, and myself. It is August the 4th at RPGaDay2019 with the prompt being share and not that share the singer.
Do you believe in life after love? I do the little vibrating the vibrating thing. Yeah.
So the word of the day is share. So who wants to go first? Unless you want me to go first.
You can go first.
Okay. You'll share the spotlight with me, guys. I love you guys. So I'm going to actually, you know what? I'm going to use that as my prompt. Share the spotlight. As a game master and player, sharing the spotlight is a super important thing to do with the gaming group. Now, we all know when we want to have that cool scene, and I'm not looking at any of you judgmental, I'm just looking to focus my eyes. Because I'm in GM mode.
No, you're engaging all of us.
That was yesterday. Today it's all about sharing. Where you as a GM can be so caught up in your script in your head or on your paper, and you want to make sure to share all the bullet points, and you're sitting there for 30 minutes and realizing I've been the only one talking for 30 minutes, and oh, sweet Jesus, what did I do? I completely bored you guys by talking, or amazed you guys, and you're all quiet. And it feels more like theater where the spotlight's on me and nothing on you guys, but let's be honest, you're the players, your characters, and you guys are the spotlight. The GM is just the dressing and
you're
the direction.
You're the stage. You're everything.
So make sure you share the spotlight. You know, as a GM, it's better when you flow with descriptions, and hopefully you share with different players and ask questions and engage back and forth. And make sure as a player that you're not hogging the spotlight. Now, granted, you all know my play style. I try to pick things that are your billywhacks. So you guys focus on, hey, here's this scene with Peter, with Hilda. And of course, it's kind of a spotlight moment here. So it's one of those that you need to share this moment with Peter because he's going to get really crazy here. And I'm going to seduce him as a beautiful German super spy with knockout lipstick. Or all of a sudden, it's an engineering issue and scrapper is needed, and it's all about can you save the engine in time to keep everyone from dying?
Of course.
But as players, make sure you do share the spotlight. Now, nobody in this group has any issues with that, thank God. But there are some players and some systems that kind of spotlight themselves and want to make it the Jim Butcher's Dresden Files show where the spotlight is on Dresden the whole time. Why? Well, it's because it's Dresden's book. It's Dresden's the main character. He's a bit of a spotlight hog because it's his story. But if you read a short story where you see the characters jumping and moving, everybody's getting the spotlight. So just make sure you kind of share the spotlight. And as a player and GM, make sure the GM's not hogging the spotlight and players aren't hogging the spotlight. So with that little bit of info, I'm going to share the moment with the rest of you.
So, talking about sharing the spotlight, one of the things that I really like about these rules, the Genesis rules and the Genesis rule system, is that it's specifically set up for collaborative role-playing together. So it becomes really easy to share all of the different things. Anybody can suggest advantage or disadvantage. It's a group story system, and that's one of the things that I really like about the rules and how it's set up. It's actually made for sharing. It's so that way each person is able to maintain their own spotlight, be their own character, and be able to do things. So a lot of it has to do with the actual story system on making it easier or harder to share. You can share in any system, D&D. It's just a matter of how well set up the rule systems are for it. There are some role-playing games where it's practically exclusive storytelling and sharing, where each individual player is putting a little bit more into the character, into the story. There's a few role-playing games where there isn't actually even one coordinated GM, where the entire group is kind of, for lack of a better word, getting around a campfire and just telling the story and sharing the story amongst themselves as well.
There are a lot of fun GM-less games that work like that. Like Fiasco, 11 Candles. We've never played that one, but I've played it, and it's fun because there's 11 candles, and as the story goes out, another candle goes out, and you guys are adding to the story. You know, each person takes a turn of, we're telling this campfire story in a dark setting, and another candle goes out, and then it goes to the next chapter. And like, there's an abbreviated version where you start with like 6 candles, so it's only like an hour-long story, and you guys start with these things of like, we're in a post-alien invasion apocalypse, and we're hiding in a basement right now. And you make a declaration, and then you put out a candle, and then basically goes around, and then it's like, how does this story end? Because it becomes that collaborative shared story, which, like most good RPGs, there are shared stories.
So, with me, with sharing, I love sharing my experiences with everything. So that way, when I went to work, I was talking about my experience with my D&D group. I noticed that one of the new guys had his own campaign, or was in a campaign with when he first started. I'm like, hey, cool, can I join in at all? He's like, yeah. So I was able to share my experience with everyone else, so that way all the newbies know what's going on. I can help out the DM so they know what they're doing. And then at the end, it always turns out, depending on the DM, how great they are or how horrible they are. You get the ones that say, no, I'm God.
Yeah, I've been
Yes,
there.
we've all had those.
We've all had the occasional experience like that.
So, with me, I love, again, sharing my group, too. So that would be like, all right, hey, I have a better GM here.
My GM's better than
yours. Basically. Because it always sucks when the player's having a bad experience, and then they're like, I don't want to play this game anymore.
Yeah, that's the worst.
So it's like, here's my experience with everything. This is what I do. This is how I would run this character. This is what I will do. All up to you, though. You could take that to heart. You could learn from it. You could do whatever. So I love sharing experiences. I love talking about Genesis, D&D outside of work or outside of here, just so that way everyone has an idea of what's going on out there. So that way they can still enjoy it.
Because you engage.
Yeah, exactly.
Share. Hey, I miss those days when I used to work my old job. But my buddy Duncan, he has his gaming groups, I have my gaming groups, and we literally exchange stories during downtime. And it's just like, it was so cool the day when this happened.
The no shit, there I was. This is what happened, and they're like, awesome.
Because when they were still doing that D&D thing, and then with Joseph, our DM, we were fighting. We went into this room, and I'm a paladin. Guys, let's not open up these coffins. The necromancer, no, I can nominate the dead. I'm like, please, no. One, as my player, no, or as my character, no. As me being the player, let's do this.
Yeah, let's open this casket. Yeah.
So of course,
let's go for the drama.
Yeah, exactly.
You know you're role-playing right when your character and you say 2 separate things. Yes. That's when you put your character's skin on right.
Yeah, so I'm like, fine, if you guys are going to do this, I'm going to step out of the room. They open it up. Skeleton Minotaur comes out. I scream, I told you so. I go in there to help them face the other 2 Minotaurs. One of them was running at me, so I get knocked prone. As I'm flying in midair, I look at the necromancer. I'm like, I hate you. I told you so.
You could just say, I hate you.
It's Lobo. And then finally, we finished that encounter. So everything I'm saying right now, I told my other group. I get up, me and the other paladin, obviously said, let's do the open of the coffins, but no.
Different kind of paladin.
Yeah. The last coffin, they wanted to open it up. The orc and the necromancer, they open it up. It's a mimic. Yep. And before the campaign or that session ended, because of how late it got, I screamed, "I told you so." That's what it comes down to. Sharing experiences, everyone enjoying it. It's like, wow, that sounds so much better than this campaign. Join us.
Well, for me, I mean, just touching base on what Scott said, a lot of the systems, they allow you to share, like, for example, the Genesis or the Star Wars. I can give dice bonuses to other people, which is nice and stuff. But I love how, groups that like to share in general. So it's like, oh, I forgot dice. Hey, I've got dice. Here, borrow my dice. Although I will never share my dice with you. You curse my dice.
You should name me by name since I
Yeah,
can't see me.
the GM.
The look that you're giving me, it
He
is the
curses
eye
my
of
dice.
Eye. It is the eye bite of spells.
He is not allowed to touch my dice. I will share with anyone but Jim because Jim curses my dice.
Just to clarify, it's because I can pick up her dice and tell her what she will roll, and then
And
put it back down.
and damn it, if not,
I attuned her
many
dice
different
like
dice.
a magic item in D&D.
It does.
And then it follows my whim.
This has happened so many times that I have.
And then I just look at her and I say, "It'd be really great if you roll a 1 right now."
And then I'll roll a 1 because he can curse me like that.
But then again, I can do it to other people too. I've done it even to Michael in the High Seas game.
That's true. But
I'll look at his orc and say, "Dude, a 1 would be awesome right
Different
now."
Michael, by the way.
Different Michael.
Yeah.
Our half
half-orc monk.
Bosun.
But yes, so no, the fact that gaming groups are, hey, just anybody have a piece of paper? Yeah, here, I think with paper gaming, it's a lot easier to do that than some other types of gaming. So it builds a camaraderie type of thing, So even though technically you need like paper, pens, and dice and stuff for this, most people are more than willing to share what they use. So, I mean, like specifically you bring in, whenever we have the Star Wars or the Genesis games, you always bring in a big bag of Star Wars dice, which can be used for both systems.
When I first
because it's harder to find those dice.
When I first came into the room, I thought we were playing Tunnels and Trolls. There were so many dice.
As you kill Kellie. But it's true. I mean, it's like in any social thing, sharing, it's like a potluck. You share food with your friends, you share drinks with your friends. Have you ever seen a GM in almost any game that won't share his books with the players? It's like, with the exception being the monster manual, and then it's like, no, you can't look at my precious.
Or even their campaign.
The GM's Bible. Yeah, the GM's Bible, which, by the way, I will share a little story that from RingCon a few years ago. One of our favorite GMs that's out there. He basically had this little panel on GM caveat information and you guys know I do a lot of the whole describe off-camera stuff that's happening just because it's cinematic.
Flavor text.
And if you're not sharing with your players what's going on in the world, you're doing them a disservice. And as he bluntly put it, you're basically self-masturbating to yourself because you're not sharing any of that information with anyone. And I gotta admit, as somebody who's GM for 30 years, there's so much crap I've written in books that have never seen the day of light. It's like, damn, they would have enjoyed knowing about this thing going on. That I tried to get in the story, but they went off track. It doesn't matter. And of course, I've done that retroactively in games of like, oh yeah, there was a dragon they wanted you to slay, but you did this thing instead, so it burned down the alchemist factory, so healing potions are now 50% more gold. It's truth and consequence of what you do. But definitely, I would say as a GM, share with your players openly. Don't worry about the metagaming because, like in Genesis, by the way, none of you guys have done it. Genesis is great when players decide to metagame because you're like, roll dice. And when threats come up and happen, it's like, maybe you shouldn't have rolled those dice. I even had another one of our Star Wars groups call it out of, damn, we got punished for metagaming, didn't we? It's like, no, you got punished for rolling dice too much.
Oh, but I guess you could also say that it's important sometimes when you don't share things.
True. No, when not to
because
share.
when to share and when not to share. Like, for example, like one of my characters who I haven't played in a really long time, but she has this whole hidden backstory that I wrote and I gave to Jim so he can incorporate it in. And I've done that with a lot with my Scion characters. Mm-hmm. That the regular players, they have no idea of this backstory, but it gives him all of this fodder that he could use, And
as a good GM, it's not mine to share; it's yours to share.
Exactly.
So then, when a character from your backstory comes up, and you immediately face drop on the table with, "Oh my god, I don't believe so and so's here." The rest of the group, like especially Kerrie, would be like, "What? Tell me! You're reacting to this thing I don't know."
Yeah. So I mean,
and then you get to have that great reveal.
Yeah. And it also allows things to build and be for the proper time. For instance, Peter had the backstory of Russian royalty from the very beginning. But it was, I think you did an amazing job of letting me and letting Peter kind of grow as a persona and continue to kind of have this story. So that way when it turns out that I am actually Russian royalty and we're starting to go back to my homeland, as you said last week, well, or somebody asked you, do you think he's actually Russian royalty? You went, well, he could be. That's why all of these things happen to him.
Yeah, and at first, but remember, she reacted like, yeah, no, you're not. That's the seriousness. But, I'm also interested because certain, Revenant that we know obviously has some type of backstory.
There's a
and with the fact
there.
that he doesn't have all his memories in, so it's we know something could be happening. So it's but it's not shared right away, so we don't know, and it's kind of it gives us a building up of suspense of, where this could go anywhere. Is he a Confederate that was deserter or something from the American Civil War? What?
I wouldn't want you to try to remember your memories after seeing that.
Perfectly valid.
As one day he gets them and then he's take it out, and he takes the spoon out of his nose.
It's did I really do that?
Yeah.
But
I'm a bad person.
Letting secrets just kind of stay there for a while and build and percolate is also really important.
Yeah.
Like any good writer, You want to sprinkle and pepper out a little bit of interest and then dangle it away.
And also another thing a good thing for not sharing right away or anything is when you write the little note to the GM for your character.
GMs love that shit.
It's because then all the other characters are what's going on?
Even if it's just something you want to get in and out after the game.
Yeah.
Oh, and if you really want to overshare, say, this note doesn't mean a thing.
Exactly.
I'm just to see what's going on.
I'm just fucking with their head.
One of the funniest ones I got was just a ... And everyone was getting super paranoid at the game.
Yeah.
When that happened.
Because then they're what the fuck? Do we need to be worried about this?
And also, I'll throw out there, as a GM point of view, GM should share with other GMs. GM therapy sessions are a good thing to share. Aggravations, fun, joy, play
I think
styles.
that would be great, especially for new GMs.
Especially for new GMs, so that way you don't feel like you're screwing it all up.
Yeah.
And then all of us old GMs say, we're really just making it all up. It's like when Gygax shared that secret that the real secret is we don't need books. All of these books are just suggestions. Or
they're
guidelines.
Awesome suggestions.
More of a guideline, really.
I'm not the one thinking that.
See, and by sharing, you know this, that you're not that different than the rest of us.
Well, share, when you're talking about gaming, is you are part of this group, you're sharing the responsibilities. You share the loot, you share the battle, everyone gets their piece. Okay? Yay, it's my turn to go. I'm gonna, and then it's the next person's that round robin, feel where you're working all as a unit. So you're sharing the experience, okay? And when you do a sort of round robin, like how we interact, it gives you, when you're sharing that, you're world building, okay? And you want your team, you want your group to do well, I want, okay, I did my role and I did my part, but oh, damn, I failed.
So you share in each other's ups and downs.
Your triumphs, your fails, your...
Spares.
Yeah, and it's a shared experience, It's kind of awesome.
Well, that's the magical thing of role-playing games,
Yeah.
period. It's not us at home playing MMOs together, just like shouting over Skype. It's actually at a table, sharing the experience.
Yeah.
Getting to hang out with
Heck,
your
even
friends.
sharing your snacks and yeah. No, seriously.
Sharing your Funyuns.
It's like, yeah. Yes, we do
love
approve
a
of
good
Funyuns.
bakery.
Yeah.
Yum and tasty.
So that's what sharing means for me.
I'm in the same vein, but it is. I like playing role-playing games and board games because you are playing with people who are in front of you. That it feels more in the moment, and you have a friendship that you don't have in any other way. Like, what's that thing? Why have one life when you can have multiples? Like,
Exactly.
be a role player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be a role player. But it's that you're... One of the things that I like most about role-playing is that you get to be somebody that you're not, even though that's clearly a piece of your personality, or you wouldn't play it. But you're telling a story together. Remember when you were little and you used to do, it's kind of like telephone, only one person starts the story, and then the next person takes the next sentence, and the next person takes the next sentence, or paragraph, and you move around. The story that you started telling is by no means the story that you get by the end of the group. But the story is so much better than what you could have come up with. And that is why I like role-playing, is we have somebody who creates a world for us and creates a setting for us, and together we populate that setting with the people that we want to play with the powers that we want to have, and with the characters that we want to be involved with. And that for me is the best part about what we share when we sit down to play together.
The collaboration.
Yeah.
Because it's true. It's not one person makes a setting. It's everybody. Everyone's bringing something in. Even if it's just one bad decision, that becomes part of the shared experience.
There's a certain green dragon I won't mention. But, yeah, it's a shared experience.
Sharing is caring.
But it's also shared memories.
Yeah. And
I mean, because you'll be like, remember we did that one game?
No
Oh my
shit,
God,
there
it was
we
so
were.
cool.
Fun.
I know.
It's the best.
Sharing is
Yeah.
important. So that's August the 4th. Sharing is caring. Or just share. Or share the singer. As the case may be. You know you want to burst out into the share song. Go ahead.
Yes, I
Take
do.
us out with a share song.
Oh, now I'm on the spot. Okay.
I'm sharing the spotlight with you.
Do you believe in life after love?
I believe life after resurrection.
Is
I
there
do
a
too.
cleric? Where's the cleric?
No, Kid the Druid. Let's come back as a different race.
Where's Richard Nixon?
Or World of Warcraft, raise them as a zombie. For the Death Knights.
Bring your friends back as undead to continue fighting during the fight.
Yeah.
Best way to share ever. I'm not done fighting. Get up and fight with me. So thank you very much, guys, and thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to the Creative Play and Podcast Network. And feel free to enjoy our other shows, such as D&D Journey of the 5th Edition and Scion Ragnarok and Roll, a Scion hero to Ragnarok story. Thank you for listening.
On the battlefield, I'm a warrior, ready to kill or be killed. I've defeated orcs from the north, sent Kandorian demon spawns back to the depths, and drank with Cimmerian heroes. But when I get back from a hard day of disemboweling my enemies, I enjoy nothing more than to open my castle doors and find a dungeon crate as my reward for blood well spilled. Designed for role players and tabletop gamers, Dungeon Crate is a monthly subscription box service with a treasure hoard of loot you can use on or off the battlefield. Miniatures, dice, tokens, coins, maps, modules, terrain pieces, handcrafted items, RPG jewelry, and more are yours for only a few gold per month. You even get a digital crate along with a physical one as an added bonus. So what say you? Are you ready for postal glory? Oh boy. DungeonCrate.com. Let the adventure begin.
The fourth is share.
Share.
And
I
not
believe
and not-
love. Oh, wrong share.
I was thinking of that too.
If I could turn back time.